welcome everybody to the Magic Beans podcast. We are back again for episode number 38. I am your host tonight, and I am joined by pretty much every single bean that I know. We have all of us here tonight, which is never happened. So we have on the line tonight Chewy. How you going, Chew?
I'm good, mate. Happy podcast birthday.
Yes, we'll definitely be getting into that. We also have Cracker. How you going, Cracker?
Very well, thank you, mate.
That's good. Stu, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate.
We also have Polywaffle. How are you, Polywaffle? Chris?
Good, Shorty.
That's good. And the Blaster Boy, Scott, is back again. How you going, Scott?
Hey, how are you? I had nothing better to do, so I thought I'd come on.
Glad to see we are a top priority in your life these days, Scott. So yes, as Chewy alluded to, this is our 1 year birthday podcast. We have been going for a full year, or just over now. I think 11th of July was our first episode being published, and somehow we've made it, guys.
Hey.
You a bit surprised?
Happy birthday, Beans.
No
I'm
one's
very
more
surprised.
surprised than us.
Yeah, it's been a quick year, I'd say. Like, it sort of snuck up on us pretty quickly. I knew, in my head it was in a couple of months it would be a year, but, went back and checked the dates, and no, episode 1, 11th July, and we are now on episode 38. So I think we're going to spend a fair bit of time tonight sort of looking back on the year that's been for the Magic Beans, and reminiscing a little bit on the things that we've done and the changes that we've seen. But yeah, a bit of a celebration this cast for a few reasons, and we thought we might get into a couple of sort of more regular topics first, and then we'll get into our main look back at the year that was. So the other thing that we're definitely celebrating at the moment is we're welcoming on board our first official sponsors. So another exciting thing.
Yes.
it's all exciting in the Magic Beans world at the moment. So Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar, which is an auction site that's run through Facebook. So they're coming on board as our very first official sponsor, and we're very glad to have them. And we thought we'd give you a bit of a rundown on what they are, so that you have a bit of an idea. And we thought we'd pass that over to Chris. Chris is our resident person that spends the most money on Magic, and has probably spent a decent amount of money on Josh and Pat's site. So, Chris, do you want to give us a bit of a rundown on who Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar are?
I sure can, and I've definitely made a purchase or two, at least. So, super excited to have Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar on board. The guys run a really tight ship, really good auction site. Bit of background on these guys: they're actually the second Magic auction site to be started up in Australia. To date, they've run over 85,000 auctions and sent over 220,000 pieces of mail, of which I have probably received a large percentage. These guys are actually the only site that's run by a full-time auctioneer, so it means that they're really good, really fast. Mail comes out quickly. You can combine your shipping, really high standards of service, and I can vouch for that personally. All the gear I've received is really well packaged, top loaders, all the right gear, so the guys do a really good job there. They do a bunch of really cool stuff. Yeah, they do custom tokens. They run a bunch of really cool stuff. There's a hangout. So yeah, the guys run a really good shop there. The guys are running auctions every weeknight. So definitely go and check them out. You can find them on facebook.com. If you jump in and search for Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar, you will find them. They come straight up. Definitely go there, check them out, get involved. They have some really good stuff up there. Lots of premium stuff, lots of good casual stuff, really good all-round mix. So definitely jump on, let them know that you've heard about them from us. And yeah, thanks again, Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. We're super excited to have you guys on board.
It really is awesome, and you can get some absolute bargains. I won an auction this week actually for about 60% of what the foil. So what's the 6 mana counters? Everything bounces everything from the new set. Something Epiphany.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I got a foil one for about 60% of SCG. So you can get some bargains on there. So definitely check them out. Shorty will put the link in the show notes, no doubt. So if you've not on that page, please join and let them know that we sent you.
Yep, very, very glad to have them on board. And obviously with sponsorships, as sponsorships usually go, there's a few things that allows you to do when you have a sponsor. And one of those things is a massive upgrade to our prizes for our leagues that we run. Now, if you've been listening to our podcast for a while, you'll know that we run leagues on Arena. We run them sort of roughly every 1 to 2 months. And we usually give away some boosters and some prizes and a few vouchers and some gem codes and things like that. But this month, as we've announced on our previous cast, we have our August League about to kick off, even though it is the middle of July. It will start pretty soon and run all the way to the end of August. And we have a big upgrade in the prizes. So we now have on offer $250 in cash, cold hard Australian dollar cash. To go with a full box of Core 2021 and along with all the vouchers and gem codes and all those sorts of things. So that's a fair upgrade for a free league that, open to absolutely anybody. So it's safe to say that sparked a little bit more interest in our league, would you guys say?
What are we up to, Stu? How many?
As of recording, we're up to 40. We have 40 participants in the next league.
That's amazing.
So our for context, our last league that we ran had 20. I think the league before that was 16. So This league has doubled in size, and I'm tipping we'll still get a few more entrants before the registrations close on Sunday. So it's going to be massive. This league's going to be very, very big, and I'm tipping this is going to lead into an even bigger league for the next one that we run. And yeah, it's always a lot of fun. We always talk about it on this cast. We like to stream a lot of the games that we have, and then when we run the finals, we stream and commentate all the finals. So it's great fun. It's a great way to get your competitive fix if you're missing out on getting to your store, especially here in Melbourne, seeing as we're back in lockdown again. It's a good way to be involved, play some Magic, meet some new people through our Discord, have a good chat with them, and just make new friends, and get yourself on, get your hands on some of those sweet prizes. So the as I said, registration closes this Sunday, 8 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time, 19th of July, and then we'll be doing a live draw. So for the last league we did a really horrible live draw from...
We'll call it an impromptu draw, right? Yeah.
We were too excited to play sealed, man.
Yeah. So we were at Chris's house about to play some, what was that, Ikoria sealed.
Yeah.
And we did an impromptu live drawing of the names, but this time we're going all out with some actual production value, and we'll be doing a live draw for the group. So make sure you tune in for that. That should be pretty cool. And then, the league will kick off straight away. It'll run for 6 weeks. And then at the end of August, the 30th of August, we'll be streaming the finals as we have for the last couple. So definitely looking forward to that. Hoping again that I'm not going to be playing in it so I can be involved in the commentating. The last one was pretty big and pretty exciting, and I'm tipping this next one will be even bigger.
With 40 people in the league, I doubt any of us will make the finals. Just saying.
Our odds are pretty low. But something else that's sort of come about through having Josh and Pat on board now is another event that we're going to run the end of the year. Chewy, do you want to give us a quick rundown on what this is? Yeah,
so if you needed more incentive to play a free league with a $250 cash pot and a bunch of other swag, all of your match wins from this league and the previous leagues that we have run you will be accruing points that will lead into the Magic Beans Invitational. So the inaugural Magic Beans Invitational, there was an announcement Shorty put up in the Discord this week. Those who haven't seen it, probably because you're not in the Discord, come and join us. So it is the top 8 points, accrued points, aggregate points over this year, and there'll be a special event held in November. It will have again prizes. It'll be a free to enter but invitational only, as the name suggests. And it'll be kind of a big deal. There'll be prizes, there'll be coverage, and there'll be bulk bragging rights, no doubt, on offer there as well. So
we may even get our hands on a trophy. That could be something cool to do.
Oh,
I think
the big
that's a pretty good idea. Yeah, I don't mind that. So keep an eye out for that. But to get in on that, you need to be in this league. And I believe that even if you've not entered any of our leagues, you can still do really well in this league and still find yourself into the top 8. There is there'll be a kind of a step aside from the Beans that have accrued enough points. So as it stands right now, 3 of the top 8 people from the podcast. So we'll step aside from that. So there are sort of 5 people at the moment in the running. And then there are, plenty of other spots up for grabs. So everything can change from this league. So get in, a great incentive to play all the matches. And it's something that we'll make an annual event. So we'll kick off leagues again in the new year. And that'll lead into to the Beans Envy, is what we'll be calling it by then, I'm sure. And we'll have some great prizes and more and more coverage. So it should be really, really fun. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really excited by having an invitational, and a good way to reward those that have stuck with us from the start, and a chance for anybody who's newer to the Beans family to come in and put their stamp on the competition.
Definitely. All right, so we've got one more topic to hit on before we get into our year in review, and we're going to pass over to Cracker. So last Monday, we had an announcement, as Wizards always does, to let us know that a ban and restricted announcement update was coming, and we got that this Monday. So, Cracker, do you want to take us through what we saw in this week's BNR announcement?
Sure thing. So, historic. Agent of Treachery is banned. It was on the suspended list. Winota Joiner of Forces is banned. It was also on the suspended list. Same with Fires of Invention, also banned. Nexus of Fate has been banned. Nice. I don't think anyone is sad to see that go.
Nope. Chris, maybe.
Well,
just a little bit.
I don't even play historic, and I'm happy to see it go.
Yeah, just on principle, right?
And Burning Tree Emissary is suspended, which I'm a little bit sad about. Yeah, I had a bunch of fun with Mono-Red. Mind you, I did play a little bit of historic during the week, and some of those starts that like Burning Tree gives they're stupid. Like free, we were talking about it in free mana, just dumb. Don't do it, Wizards. Pioneer. Do you guys remember that? That was a thing.
That's that format that everyone is saying is dead.
That's the one. Well, they decided to fix it by unbanning Oath of Nissa.
and not fixing it.
Correct. In Modern, Arkham's Astrolabe is banned.
Well, they fixed Modern at least. That's good.
Yeah, so the snow decks will maybe disappear. In Pauper, Expedition Map is banned because apparently Tron was too good. And who knew Tron was just common lands? What were they doing back then?
Hang on. So Burning Tree Emissary, 3 mana is bad. Yeah. 3 lands, 7 mana, bad. Okay, at least they're consistent. I like that.
Arkham Astrolabe, 3 colours is bad.
Draws a card. And finally, in Pauper, Mystic Sanctuary is also banned. There was a bunch of flicker effects to let people rebuy. There were basically just loops that you could do, which would effectively lock your opponents out. So those are the most recent bannings. Also banned: Hogak, Necropolis Risen, Faithless Looting, Field of Dead, Arkham's Astrolabe, Felidar Guardian, Leylight of Abundance, Oath of Nissa, Veil of Summer, Oko, Thief of Crowns, Once Upon a Time, Veil of Summer, Renin 6, Narset Parter of Veils, Field of Dead, Once Upon a Time, Smuggler's Copter, Oko, Nexus, Oko, Mox Opal, Mycosynth Ladders, Golos, Underworld Breach, Veil of Summer, Field of Dead was unbanned. Once Upon a Time, Flash, Lutri, Draneth Manistrate, Winota, Luris, Zerda, Luris, Agent of Treachery, Fires of Invention, Winota, Agent of Treachery, and Fires of Invention.
No, your record wasn't skipping there.
Nope. There were a few repeats. That's what happened.
What was that?
That's the list of cards that have been banned, except Stoneforge was unbanned since we started the podcast. So the start of the week we were...
So it's our fault.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
I absolutely got Hogak banned. Oh, no, wait. That's right. My performance at that MCQ was just terrible. Yeah, so that's what happened. We went back through the list of all the shows that we've done over the last 12 months, and as part of it, we were was summarizing kind of just the headlines of what had happened, and I also went through and pulled out the list of all of the banned cards that have happened, and oh my goodness, what a list!
That's a lot of bannings. Yep.
I'm really interested to go back and look and see if there's as many cards banned in the last 12 months as what there has been since I've been playing Magic.
I think
in 25 years.
Yeah. It really feels like there would. I mean, I was playing during the Mirrodin block, so there'd be a spike up there with banned cards, but 2020 wouldn't fall so short compared to the last, at least 10 years, right? So that's incredible.
So do we want to touch on any of these specific bannings from this week?
From this week?
I don't think any of us are historic experts, but from what I've been hearing, Nexus was definitely an issue, and people are pretty happy to see that gone. And Burning Tree Emissary is, like Cracker said, it's free mana, so it has those crazy explosive draws. The other three cards that have been permanently banned now are not surprising because they're all crazy powerful.
Is there a historic premiere event coming up?
There sure is.
So there's the Arena Open in a few weeks.
Yeah,
and
so
then there's
these are preemptive bans for that, I assume, and you don't want to see, oh, look, there's got this whole thing and there's all this Twitch coverage and it's Fires of Invention with, what's his name, Luca, or it's Winota decks rolling dice, or, you want to, this is for diversity, right? So I like it for that. It means that the metagame's got a complete shake-up ahead of the whatever it was, whatever the premier event was that you mentioned. And, it makes it a brand new metagame, so it piques some interest. So if only from a marketing perspective, to refreshen the format, then I think that's fine. None of these cards are particularly fun either. So I'm happy with them from a historic perspective.
Yeah. Like, we've been pretty focused on Standard for the last 6 months, really. Definitely since all the COVID stuff, and we haven't actually been able to get out and play tournaments, but we were pretty keen on Pioneer. I think maybe the last event we played was that the Bushfire thing? Have we played anything since then?
Nope. That was
Probably
the last
not.
one.
No, and that was Pioneer.
I top 8 at a couple of PTQs, but, we'll get to that.
But Chris, you've been known to play a bit of Green Ramp in Pioneer. Are you thinking that Oath of Nissa is going back into a Nykthos deck? Is that something we're going to see?
Maybe. I think, I think it could slot in. I think it's a good early play. It just depends on what kind of build you're going for. But I think the Veil of Summer still being banned, and the Leyline of Anticipation, Leyline of Abundance, I think is still banned, right?
It is.
Yes.
I mean, that really gave you your broken, busted starts for Devotion specifically. But, Oath of Nissa is certainly a great new addition for Mono Green, because that's really dropped off the Pioneer metagame. I'll probably slot it into something.
It was one of those cards when it got banned, it was like, I don't think that really needs to get banned, so it's probably good to see it being unbanned. But the thing that basically everybody is complaining about, I think when Wizards did the announcement of the announcement and they said there was some changes coming to Pioneer, everyone just assumed, well, something in Inverter is gone. It's the deck that everybody hates in Pioneer, and either Inverter or Thassa's Oracle or maybe Dig Through Time was gonna get the axe, and everyone just assumed that was the case. And Monday rolls around and nope, it's all still there. So
they did mention in the announcement that its win rates were high, but not too high, right? And they'll keep an eye on it. But, it's still not winning everything.
Yeah, but events are not firing because no one wants to play, right? Let's not forget that. There was the challenges they run every weekend or every 2 weekends, and they had 3 people sign up for one. I was like, if that doesn't tell you what people think of the format, then, data isn't everything. True. It helps.
I heard today something like out of the last 30 Pioneer events that have been meant to fire, only 8 of them or something have actually fired.
Wow.
Which is, that's pretty bad. And that's definitely leading to a lot of people talking about Pioneer being a dead format. And I think we'll probably talk about Pioneer a little bit later on in the cast, seeing as that was something new for us in this last year. But yeah, it's very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what Wizards does with that. In Modern, yeah, again, we haven't played much Modern lately, but from everything I've been hearing, Arkham's Astrolabe just meant everybody played Snowlands and 3 or 4 colour decks and had perfect mana every time. So it's probably a good thing to go. And yeah, Pauper, as Cracker said, they're pretty obvious bans there. So yeah, it's an interesting ban, but like Cracker said, as he reeled off that massive list of cards we've seen banned in the last 12 months, there's been a lot of bans, and that's pretty unprecedented for Wizards. I think I went back and listened to our first episode, as I know a couple of you guys did as well, and I definitely do not recommend...
High quality.
to our listeners out there, do not go back and listen to our previous episodes. Not the early ones, and definitely not episode 5 or 6 or whatever the robot voice episode is. We can just skip those. Maybe start at like 10. That's probably a good spot to start. Yeah, one of the things that I think you, Scott, actually brought up in that first episode was, do Wizards, have they learnt from their mistakes? Are they banning cards very often and things like that? And I think most of us actually said, yeah, no, they've done a pretty good job the last couple of years. They might have a ban every now and then, but it's pretty rare.
Statements that didn't age well.
Yeah, wow. Talk about wrong.
Well, I'm just thinking back to my previous point about, there being so many bans this year compared to previous. I'm just trying to think how we would have felt 5 or 6 years ago if there were 9 cards banned in any given announcement. Like, that would be like, people would lose their minds. And now it's just like, oh yeah, another 9 cards. Sure. It's just,
whatever.
Come to accept it. So yeah, it's, I guess it's the cost of power creep, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things we did mention in that first cast was that they just recently brought in their play design team, and we were just going to be starting to see the effects of the sets that they were being involved in. And, we were pinning some hopes on seeing some good sets and seeing things being pretty balanced. And, I don't really know what happened there.
Well, what they did is they got a whole bunch of spikes in a room and said, make us some magic cards. And that's what we've got. We've got Nexus of Fate, Winota, and Agent of Treachery.
Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, maybe they need to get some more Vorthos players in Cracker. What do you reckon? Shameless plug for our Evergreen series there.
Yep. All right. So yeah, we thought we might as well get into the year that we've seen as a podcast. So when we first started out, Scott, this was all your fault starting this podcast. You, I think we went out for I think it was Billy's birthday lunch or something like that.
I think so.
You got me in a corner and you said, "Right, we're doing a podcast." That's how it went, wasn't it?
It was pretty much, that's exactly how it went, yeah. And I think it wasn't very hard to convince you either.
No, it wasn't at all.
You just said, yes, I just need an excuse.
Yeah. But, we managed to convince a couple of the other guys, and
you twisted our arms so hard.
Yeah,
I don't think that was very hard either.
Yep. But, away we went. And, when we first sort of started out, we thought, all right, we'll record this thing and hopefully our wives will at least listen to it just to sort of humour us. And if we can get, there's a few of our mates that play Magic that'll probably listen to us, that sort of thing. So if we can get a few people, then, that'll be cool. And we basically went in with the mindset that if 5 people listen to us, we're happy with that. Like, we're basically just recording ourselves talking about Magic. So whatever, we're just having fun. And, safe to say, based on what Chewy was saying before with the growth in the league, and I think Stu, you said the size that we're at the moment, we have grown massively. We went from just a little podcast with really bad audio to a podcast with slightly better audio, depending on how much I edit it. But we started streaming. I think when we first started Chewy, you were doing a few YouTube videos, which we've sort of dropped off on because we picked up the streaming instead. But we're giving that a go. We're running our leagues. We've got a sponsor. What on earth are you typing in the show notes?
Oh, sorry. I updated the name of COVID to what it's actually called. So SARS-CV-19.
Cool.
But yep.
So we saw the coronavirus hit, and that's made a massive change in the landscape for Magic. We saw a whole new format come into existence, which being Pioneer. We went from our 2-week or a fortnightly episode to, oh no, we have way too much to talk about. We need to actually do weekly and launched our Evergreen series, which has been fun. And we have had 1 million sets come out. So I heard on someone's podcast, I think in the last 12 months there's been like 32 products released, which is phenomenal. And how many of those have you bought, Chris?
What'd you say, 32? Yeah,
You've bought 33?
I think I bought 34 of them, yeah.
So yeah, it's been a massive year, and I think, you know, we've all got a few things we sort of want to talk about tonight of things that we've had personally in our year, and we'll probably touch on a few of these topics a bit more. So I think we might start with the newest being the newest member to the podcast being Stu. Stu,
Yeah.
you want to give us a bit of a rundown on your year?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a pretty big year, not just in Magic, in life as well. But I joined the podcast, what was it, 4 or 5 months ago? I think just pre-COVID.
Yep.
And that's been huge. It's been a lot of fun getting involved with you guys. And obviously we'd been playing before and I just loved it. But one of the guys in our Discord sort of mentioned just how he'd been sort of having a bit of a rough time over the last 12 months and that the community that we've been building has really helped him in that time. And to be honest, it's done the same for me. Just being able to get on, jam some games with a bunch of guys, especially during SARS-CoV-19. It's just been, really good. So that's a huge highlight for me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It really has been. I think everybody's feeling that.
Yeah. So I also participated in my first ever constructed event, which was the Beans Bushfire fundraiser.
Yep. First
And that as well.
sanctioned tournament,
that was
I think.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The night before, going to Polywaffle's house and going through all of his cards and putting together a mono black aggro deck and having never had any reps with it. And I think I went 2-1 the next day before I had to drop. So that was cool.
That's awesome, man. That's that like lights the fire in me hearing those stories. Like it's fantastic. Love it.
Compared to my first sanctioned events, which we also talked about in the first episode, I think my first 10 were 03s. So going 2-1 in your first one, that's pretty good, Stu. You should be happy with that.
He's got a few more resources behind him than what you did back then. Sure.
Yes.
I was going to say, I think I'm only as good as the cards that were provided to me. But yeah,
He's only as good as the podcast he was listening to.
and
Exactly.
And so obviously part and parcel with the joining the podcast, I started, the streaming on Twitch, which honestly I never thought that would be something that I'd do. You kind of, especially with Magic, being a noob, putting myself out there and putting my terrible ability out there for people to potentially critique, but it's been really good. I've learnt a lot out of it as well. And yeah, you get a few guys in there and everyone's just having a chat and trying to help you through it. So that's been great too.
Yeah, the streaming's really just an extension of the community that your first point was, right?
And I think that's been the thing that I've really gained the most out of this is that sense of community. Like, without going into too much detail for a number of years, I was heavily isolated while my wife struggled through some mental health issues, and being able to, thankfully she's through that and back onto sort of non-Magic and podcast related news. She was able to study this year and all that sort of thing, which has been huge, but back on track.
But before you go, one of the other benefits of that is she's been able to hang out with us and cast giant dragon spells against us as well. So that's been a real positive as well.
Yeah, so I actually have a huge regret with that because I put a Terror of the Peaks in her deck and it does work.
I'm sure it does.
Only when she's playing it, though.
Only when she's playing it. Did nothing when I played it. And so now I've lost where I was. But, it's just been really helpful for myself. Like I said, I was isolated for a long time, but being able to come out the other side and have this huge support network around us as well. And it was really, really nice to sort of read that a couple of guys have found the same thing that I did. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I found streaming is, same as you. Streaming was something I never thought I would ever do. I thought, I don't want to. I mean, doing the podcast is bad enough, but recording a podcast is like, oh, I'm just sitting in front of my computer with a microphone and I'm just talking, and no one's looking at me and seeing what I'm doing or what I'm wearing or anything like that.
It's so much easier.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. But streaming, it's like, okay, I'm putting myself out there. Like you're effectively public speaking.
You're performing.
Yeah, very, very much so. You are performing, and it's something I never thought I would be interested in doing, but I've been loving it. It's been really fun, and I think, Chewy, you've been having a good time with the streaming as well, and Cracker's
it's the best.
Planning on it now that he's got a computer that doesn't explode when he turns it on. So hopefully we'll see some of that. But
every time I've got ready to do it, one of you guys has beaten me to it.
You got to get in early.
Apparently so. I have to start booking slots in advance.
Yeah. But it's been heaps of fun, and hopefully we'll see more of you streaming, Stu, and maybe even Blaster Boy. Maybe you a long time ago you said you were keen to get on and stream. So
got to get him on and do a draft, don't we?
That was in episode number 1 as well. We're a year down and still hasn't happened. So
well, you guys promised you were going to take me through a what was it? It was a draft or something on Arena recently.
We were going to cube with you, and
we're going
to cube, and that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I reminded you. I said, we're still doing this cube draft, and what did I get? Donuts. Just ghosting. So ball's in your court.
No.
Maybe someone else will ask you, Scott. You'll be, you'll reply to one of us rather than
Shorty. I just need to be asked by the right person.
Jumpstart launches in a couple of days. We can get Scott to do that.
Doesn't it launch tomorrow? It launches today on Arena, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we are locking you in for Jumpstart.
Yeah, Jumpstart would be cool.
All right, done.
All right, we're locked in. Is that officially locked in?
But when?
Scott,
Yeah, no, definitely. You're just going to tell me when.
We'll make a date. We'll make a date. We'll plan it.
Yeah,
we'll
a date.
Do it. Stay tuned, listeners out there. Scott will be streaming at some point in the next week.
Yes.
Locked in, 100%. You've heard it here on this podcast. So
just not next Thursday because that's D&D. So, but any other day.
No worries.
Priorities.
All right, Scott. Well, while you're talking about what you're planning on doing, do you want to give us a bit of a rundown on what's happened for you in the last year?
Yeah, well, I think probably reiterating what Shorty just said before, when we had that first conversation in a restaurant for one of my nephew's birthdays, probably the highlight for me was actually seeing the podcast come from just a general discussion in a restaurant to what it is now. I certainly didn't anticipate it would ever get as big as this.
No, I don't think any of us did.
No, I'd be surprised if anyone thought that we'd, I mean, the fact that you guys are streaming, I mean, I have taken a bit of a back seat to it over the last few months with things going on in my personal life and work, but I still like to sort of be a bit of a ghost in the background, just sort of watching what's going on, especially in Discord, and just when I jump into Discord every now and then and have a look at, where is it? So I'm just having a look now at the gamer tags, and it just grows and grows and grows. The gamer tag section. So obviously there's people jumping on more and more and more. So yeah, that was one of the big highlights for me. The other one was also just seeing the community and how it's grown over the last 6 months, and that probably touches a bit on what Stu just said before, because I think that really, when he described that a few minutes ago, that really touched home. I thought that I'm really proud of us and the fact that we have brought this group of people together that are obviously enjoying each other's company and have like a safe spot to be in, so they can, if they want someone to talk to, there's always someone there. So that's been very pleasing as well, and probably on a more fun point of view, beating you guys in a Commander game when we were allowed to travel, and we all went to Shorty's place for that dinner. That was
crushed us.
Never played a Commander game in my life. No, you weren't there, were you?
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
But that was a hoot. It's the first and only Commander game I've played, but that was fun. Had no idea what was going on. Undefeated, and I'm going to retire now.
Time for a rematch.
Yeah. Let's lock that in in about another 12 months' time when we can actually see each other all again.
When we can travel again.
No, we've been slight tangent because it's what I do. We've been playing some Commander games over Discord or using that whatever that website is when it works. Yeah, spell table. But yeah, Discord's been more reliable, and yeah, we've done it a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, and it's been really fun. So maybe just play some Commander via webcam with us at some time, mate.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Is it easy to set up or?
There's a bit of Lego involved to build a stand for your.
I don't know how you'll go with that, Scott. You're not really not really much of a Lego fan, are you?
Well, no, not really. Last weekend, it's the only thing Rhonda and I did all day, Saturday and Sunday. My plan was to get on Sunday and at least finish Last of Us Part 2. Nope, it was all Lego all day.
Nice.
Well, there you go. You got a Lego project to build a webcam mount. Done.
And yeah, I think probably one of the last highlights for me was, and I think we talked about it once in one of our podcasts, I played a game with my Chandra deck that I love so much, my Cavalcade deck, and there was that one particular game where this guy just, he could obviously see what was going to happen, but I just put my third Cavalcade card down, and I had the Chandra out, I had a couple of Spitfires, so I think we all knew it was going to come next, and off I went, and he just let the fireballs fly. And
Nice.
that was the biggest thing, watching my screen just light up with all these fireballs and just letting the opponent letting me do it. I think that was a highlight for me.
Do you
sounds like a
remember
true
when
gentleman.
someone had you sign the Cavalcades?
Oh, that's right.
That's-
Yeah,
that's-
at the
that's gotta be
bushfire
highlight.
event.
Yeah.
And I remember Chewy bringing in well, didn't you offer to pay for them?
Chewy was going to pay like $5 or something for every Cavalcade that got signed, and I brought in a
That's
play set of them.
Yeah, you cost me like $30 that day, man.
Yeah, it was all for a good cause.
Absolutely was.
Oh, and I
Yeah.
do remember one more highlight. When you dragged me along to that Grand Prix event, and one of the guys that was standing outside as I was leaving that day, and I was just handing out our business cards, and that's when we were still fairly early, but
Yeah,
he
yeah.
recognised our podcast. And
Yep.
when I introduced myself as, well, Scott originally, but then Blaster, he said, "Oh, you're Blaster Boy." That was a highlight.
Yeah,
So
nice. Getting
I thought-
recognised.
Getting recognised on celebrity.
One random person who you had to tell who you were recognised you after you told them.
Let him have it, man. That's awesome.
Forced him to take a selfie with me.
Yeah, nice. All right, Chewy. Well, you mentioned the bushfire event, which that was something that was pretty cool to do this year, and again, that was something that go back 12 months ago, we never would have thought we would have been involved in something like that. And
No.
I think you were the driving force behind that. So props to you. It was a great event, great day, and we raised a ton of money. So yeah, that's something that we've seen grow. Events like that, and as we mentioned earlier with our Magic Beans Invitational, and who knows what we're going to have next year. It's only bigger and better things, but it's all stuff that we never would have thought we'd be doing something like that. So yeah, pretty cool to see. But yeah, you want to give us your year?
Yeah. So absolutely, that bushfire event, the fires sort of 6 or 7 months ago in Australia affected a lot of people really close to me. Like two of the largest, the two parts of New South Wales that had the biggest impact were the two parts of the state where I grew up. Sort of the Riverina region and the South Coast. So a lot of people that I've known for a very long time were, directly impacted there. And, I really felt the need to do something, to help. And, the Magic community, is amazing and really answered the call. And we had an event that we ran at Next Level Games, Ringwood, now Games Portal. And, they were really generous with their time and the space, and the Magic community they responded, phenomenally. And, we raised over $2,500 for the CFA. And that's something that, one day if I, even if I've never, I stopped playing Magic and I'm, old and older, I'll always look back at that as a real highlight, because I was really compelled to do something, and because of the Magic community, the wider Magic community were able to do that. And, I'll eternally grateful to everybody that was involved, to you guys, to the guys at the store, everybody who donated prizes and their time to judge the event and everything else. It was just awesome. And that is 100% like my biggest highlight of the year. Other highlights for me are, our leagues. I feel like the timing kind of worked in our favor, which is unfortunate, but it was. But with the lockdown, we were able to, fill a bit of a void for people, which, as has been mentioned before, has been really helpful to a lot of people. And I've really enjoyed the coverage side of it. Playing the games is great and interacting with people and making new friends is fantastic. But yeah, doing the coverage has been super fun. I just, it's like, oh, you want me to talk for 4 hours? Okay. But yeah, it's really good.
That's a side that I've really enjoyed as well. And I know, like, Cracker, you've enjoyed, and running sort of the back end of it as well was heaps of fun. And I know, Chris, you're definitely looking forward to our next league finals and doing the behind the scenes production type stuff. It's really cool. It's another thing that previously, or prior to doing this podcast, probably never would have been exposed to doing something like that. So never would have known that I actually enjoy it, and doing those things is giving us that opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's really
Stepping
cool.
out of your comfort zone. What do they say? The comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. There you go. Pearls of old man wisdom.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and on a sort of Magic personal perspective, I managed to top 8 a couple of big events, like sort of 2 weekends in a row. So that was good. All of this stuff that we've been doing with Magic, also being able to, still play the game and have some results is something that I definitely enjoyed as well. And as I'm talking through this, I honestly, this last year, doing this podcast with you guys, interacting with our community, the events that we've done, and our streams and everything, this is by a really wide margin the best year of Magic that I've had, and that includes 2008 when I went to KL. This is the top for me. It's been awesome, and it's because of the people involved, as always. So yeah,
Nice.
Before I get all soppy, that's I'll end it there. But yeah, it's been a ripper this year. It's been great. So yeah, what about you, Cracker? What's your highlights?
I just can't believe we've done it for a year. Like, I remember when Shorty, told us that we were going to do this. He didn't ask us. He just told us we were going to do this.
Yeah, I do remember that, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went.
I mean, yeah, huge amount of convincing. Hey, I want to do a podcast. In. Like, Chewy and I were just in before we even knew what it was about. But, he was saying, look, if we can get to like 10 episodes, that's like a really good threshold.
Yeah, 10 episodes is apparently a milestone. 10 episodes is
kind of like a milestone. And we're like, all right, well, like maybe we can do that. And then it was like the first, we've had like 100 people listen. I was like, how have 100 people listened to this thing? Like what is going on? I just had a look. We're at like 2,800, different downloads and stuff. It's not our wives padding our numbers anymore. Right? Not that my wife ever did. She refused. Nice. Thanks, Amelia. But yeah, just getting to hang out more. And honestly, for me, I think the Discord has been like the most fun thing, and the leagues, like just that there are people who are, happy and interested to just hang out with us, and just it was, it started out, Chewy and I talked about this on the last Evergreen where, it was me, Chewy and Shorty, and we formed the Magic Beans to go play at a GP in Sydney a few years ago. And then like Chris came along and I was like, well, all right, well, we had like a Facebook Messenger thing, and then, Chris joined that, and then, we got Stu involved and, Scott involved, and like all of a sudden it's just like, and now we have like 80, 90 people in our Discord, and they're all just like hanging out and talking. It blows my mind, and I just love it. It's fascinating to me. There's one thing that I have noticed about myself this year that I don't love so much is that I've become more spiky.
That's probably my fault.
It's just like I remember looking at like cards and going, oh, like that thing's insane. And now I look at Elder Gargoth and I go, yeah, but it's not good enough. Like it's like I feel like I've lost a little bit of that like crazy shine, like that super excitement. about some things, which is good and bad. Like, you know, and now it's like modern. I mean, I have Living End over here somewhere, but I goldfished it the other day, but I haven't played modern in forever. And when we started, that was like our main focus, right? We were effectively like modern, where we didn't touch standard, and we were like super interested in Pioneer.
Yeah.
I haven't played Pioneer since the bushfire event in February. And like,
no one else has either, so it's fine.
Well, that's true. That's true. We just talked about that. But it's interesting, right? You know, that the focus that Arena has brought. But yeah, it's awesome. And, you know, I remember, you know, talking, I was like, we've got a listener in America. That's insane. And I just played Commander with him on the weekend. It's so cool. You guys are all legends. Thank you all so very, very much for just doing this with us and giving the opportunity for us to just be our massive nerdy selves and have a great time with it.
Yeah, like I said, when we first started out, it was like we're basically just recording ourselves just chatting about Magic. So if people just happen to listen, then cool. But we don't really care too much. So
no, but we had no expectations going into it. Like, it was literally when we were talking about it, it was like if a few people listen and are interested, then that's sweet. But I mean, we're just having these conversations anyway, so we might as well just do it on Discord or, you know, record it and throw it out there. And like, it's just exploded. It's just phenomenal.
I remember the buzz I got the very first time I saw our logo come up on my Apple CarPlay, and then hearing our voices through my car.
Yes. And you get the notification that the new episode's out, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I think when we open up our Discord, so when we first started off, we had a Discord that was just basically for us to sort of chat about the podcast and Magic and whatever. And we had a few friends in there and that sort of stuff. And then I can't remember what episode or sort of time of year that we decided to open it up, but I think that was one of the best things we could have done. That's what has led to this community that you guys have been talking about, that you love so much, having that access to like-minded people that like Magic and want to talk about the same stuff and all that sort of thing. It's been cool. and just the fact that people want to talk to us about stuff, like that's just really cool. And it is really cool to have that community. And we were saying sort of before the cast about getting 1 million Discord notifications. I love it. I love seeing on my watch or my phone, like Discord pops off with Magic. Someone's posted something in the Magic Beans podcast Discord. That's so cool. That's such a cool thing for me.
I can't remember when it was or what the specific topic was, but I remember being at work and my watch starts beeping and it's Discord. And then I went in and I had a look on my phone and I went, oh, this isn't one of us having the conversation. This is other people in the Beans Discord speaking amongst themselves. And, you know, it's an organic thing. It's not us prompting people to have a conversation. This is happening on its own. And that was a real milestone for me. So yeah, that was great.
Yep. So Chris, you've been pretty quiet over there. You tend to miss a few podcasts, that's safe to say, but you're obviously a very busy man, but we do appreciate you when you come and join us. I think you've had a bit of fun this year. I know you were pretty keen on Pioneer for quite a while when that first came out, but obviously that's dropped off as well. But how's your year been in Magic?
Yeah, it's actually been interesting sitting back and listening to everyone else throw stuff on the table, because it's just flared up a whole bunch of things that I hadn't even considered leading into this, and now I'm scattered. I don't know where to start.
Wherever you want.
It's been one of those crazy years where it's gone super quick. But also I look back on it and it's like, wow, it felt like that was forever ago, but it was still within the last year. Like, I think one of the things I'd written down was I attended GP Brisbane. Like,
I couldn't even remember when that was.
So that was December last year. Apologies to my wife. I went on my wedding anniversary, but it was
priorities.
It's so risky.
Oh, so risky. But that was awesome. I solely went and represented the Beans. Thank you. I put in the hard yards. I did all the hard work. Yep, that was awesome.
Took one for the team.
Took one for the team. But yeah, I went to GP Brisbane. Like, going to GPs was a thing that we could do pre-COVID. And that was, like 6 months ago. It's crazy. So I had an awesome time going to the GP up there. And I love to get out to any of those kind of events wherever I can. Like Scott said, going to the PTQ when we could go and do that. And that was heaps of fun. Yeah, I think you guys have kind of covered everything already, but just to mirror, I suppose, again, the Discord, that's, I think for me, been definitely the highlight of the last 12 months is just seeing how the beans community has grown. I think we're all really big Magic content consumers. Like, we all listen to lots of podcasts leading in, and the fact that we have our own Magic podcast is still crazy to me. And I can remember listening to a bunch of podcasts that I've been listening to for years when they were all firing up Discords and hearing how much they were going off. And it's like, now we're sitting here and we've got this, crazy community. And, even looking at some of the people in our Discord, I look at probably half a dozen or a dozen people in our Discord as being like the originals. And it's like the fact that we can even say that is crazy. And I was reflecting earlier when Chewy was talking about the invitational. It's like we're holding a top 8 invitational. The fact that we even have 8 people to invite to something, that's crazy.
that aren't us.
and 6 of us are us, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, look, it's been awesome fun. And if not anything else, it's an excuse just to do more Magic stuff, right? Like, just hanging out with you guys and being able to say, nope, we've got a Beans thing on and we're organising something. It's like, cool, I just get to play more Magic or be involved with more Magic stuff. So, hanging out with you guys, playing more Magic, building a community. Like Cracker said the other night, had a blast playing games with, guys interstate around Australia and playing a Commander match with someone in the States. Like, that's crazy. And it was heaps of fun. So if you're not a member of the Discord, jump in it because it's unreal. And I will happily play a game of Commander with you anytime.
I think it's pretty safe to say that Commander is your favourite format now, Chris.
Yeah, it's funny because I think I've become... I've done like the opposite of Cracker, where now I'm looking at like those big stompy green cards and going, that is going in Omnath. Yes. All right. Yeah, I think Commander's definitely become like my favourite format during this. Like, I played Modern heaps. Modern was my favourite format by far. Pioneer looked like it was going to be the next Modern, so I was pretty keen into that, like you were saying, Shorty. Pre-COVID, but since this has happened, it's been awesome. Just awesome jumping in and playing Commander. I think the social aspect of just having that hangout time with people as well as playing cards is just a killer combination. That's why it's Magic the Gathering, right?
It's all about the gathering.
While we're gushing about our Discord members, people playing other games as well, like just Destiny 2, Sea of Thieves, World of Warcraft, someone's playing Dark Souls. These are my sorts of people. These are gamers, and that's what I really like seeing.
Very good. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a pretty wild year. I think, like for me personally, I mean, I've sort of touched on a few things that I've been pretty excited about this year. In my personal life, I had my 3rd kid. I think on the first episode, I mentioned that I had my 3rd on the way. So he's like 8 months, nearly 9 months now. I think like that's gone crazy quick. He's nearly walking around. It's insane, but it's that just adds to the craziness of life, and all the corona stuff that's been going on, like family being in lockdown and having to remote learn, like teach the kids from school. I know Chewy and I don't know how it's gone for you, Cracker, but I know Chewy, you've had the kids at home a fair bit while you've been trying to work. That certainly adds a few stresses to your life.
It's really fun.
I saw today your photo of Scout pulling out all your cards.
I should put that on Twitter actually. My daughter had like a bit of a sniffle, and in today's environment, can't send her to daycare, so I had to keep her at home, and I'm chairing a meeting whilst she's got a box of commons and like one of the 5,000 card boxes, and probably 2,000 of those cards that were all colour sorted are now scattered all over the floor. So yeah, it's remote learning or having the kids at home's been a hoot.
Yeah. So it's definitely been a challenging year. Like obviously, everyone out there listening knows how challenging this year has been. Coronavirus basically just came out of left field, and it's completely changed the world, and it's completely changed the face of Magic. The tournament structures, and not even having tournaments and things like that now, and pro play, and every aspect of Magic has been changed by Corona, as well as every aspect of our normal day-to-day lives. So having this podcast as an outlet, and having our community in our Discord and jumping on the stream and things like that it's just been great as an escape from that sort of normal life stuff, and come and do something different and focus on this. So I've had a great time. Yeah, definitely want to give a massive shout out to all of you guys. Sometimes you make my my job easy, but sometimes you also make my job hard. not pointing at anybody else, but no, it's been I really appreciate.
That's been the most fun aspect of it, by the way, is making your job hard. Yeah,
no, really appreciate. The fact that you guys have stuck with it, as Cracker mentioned, sort of 10 episodes a lot of people start a podcast and they hit that sort of 9 episode mark, and they never get that 10th episode. So once we got past that, it's like, okay, we're doing something, and we're going to stick with this. And the fact that we've got through a year and you guys have stuck with it is awesome. I've really appreciated.
Well, I'm going to pull you up there. I'm going to pull you up there, mate. And I know I give you a lot of flack, and we like slinging insults at one another. It's part of how we show each. Yeah, that's it. But everything that we've gotten out of this last year, and everybody else has gotten out of it, none of that would have happened if you hadn't put in that time and effort. You're the reason things get published. You do all of the behind the scenes stuff with the stream. You do all of the editing with every single episode. You do the bulk of the research and publish the show notes. Like, none of this would happen without you. So, we're all thankful to you for doing that. And, none of these conversations would even be happening, without your hard work. And to do that, in the year where you've bought a new house and had a new baby and everything else that's gone on, that's no mean feat, mate. So thank you from all of us.
No worries. Happy to do it. I absolutely love doing this, but I think, does that mean that you're agreeing to edit out all your own ums from all your audio?
I think I've been trying to add them in deliberately.
Yeah. So yeah, been a pretty full on year, and just seeing the growth that we've had this year it's been pretty cool. I can't wait to see when we're recording in another year's time, which we're going to be recording in another year's time. Like, if we've come this far, then we're going to stick to it, unless, I don't know, Corona stops us from recording podcasts somehow. We're still going to be here. So, yeah, in another year's time, seeing the growth and seeing where we're at then, it's going to be pretty cool. It's very humbling, and massive thanks to everybody out there who either listens to us or watches our streams or just, jumps in our Discord and has a chat every now and then. We really appreciate everybody out there. Cracker, I think you had something else?
Yeah, I just can't believe that we started a year ago and we just did like the early access event.
Yeah,
like that was something that we didn't even
completely forgot about that.
That's the sort of thing that we would joke about. We're like, oh yeah, like don't worry, Wizards will like invite us to stuff one day, and then like two of us got invited to like participate in this thing. It's nuts, and we're like, all right, so now we have to start going. What's next? Let's go for a card, right?
Yeah.
That's our
preview
next
card.
goal.
Bring it on, Wizards.
Preview card, all right? Look, not Zendikar, like that's pretty soon. We don't expect that, but the set after that. Let's go. 2021 set. Anything without Teferi sounds good.
If they need commentators on Mythic Championship streams or anything like that, we can put a hand up for that. Anything Wizards, throw us a bone. We're up for it.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the next 12 months brings for us. Not just from a podcast perspective, but in a global perspective, I guess. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting 12 months. But if we can be here to help support you out there, our lovely listeners that we really appreciate, then it makes this all worth it. Any effort, and that's, like Chewy said, I do a fair bit of work in the background, but I'm more than happy to do it because I know people appreciate it, and it means something to somebody out there. So if that's even one person out there, then it makes it worthwhile. So yeah, gonna be a very big year, and with sponsors coming on board and things like that, it's going to be interesting to see what we can do and where we can go. So stay tuned for that. Anybody got anything else they want to reminisce on before we wrap it up?
I'll stop because I could, talk till midnight, but I won't. But yeah, love it. Everything's good.
Cool.
Love you guys.
It's been an emotional episode, hasn't it?
Nice. All right, so let's wrap this up with all our usual stuff. So yeah, as we mentioned earlier on in the cast, our league is about to kick off. So this podcast will likely go out really late Thursday night on Australian time. So you'll have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to have a listen and then get into our league. So Sunday night, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, registrations will close, and then we will do our live stream to draw the names for the groups. So make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be pretty cool. And yeah, this league is going to be awesome. So come and get in on that. And when you do, make sure you come and join us in our Discord. So as has been mentioned a million times tonight, our Discord's a really cool community. We really love the people in there. So come and be a part of it and say g'day. One thing we haven't mentioned previously is we started a merch store, part of the streaming stuff that we do. We actually have a merch store.
Merch?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's another thing that's
bought
ridiculous.
stuff with our logo on it.
Yep. So yeah, you can also buy a hoodie with the Beans logo on, or a t-shirt, or what else is on there? Mouse pads and cups and
coffee mugs,
things like
stickers,
that.
stickers for your deck box.
Yeah. So yeah, go and find that. The link will be in our show notes. And, it's on our stream, all that sort of stuff. Massive shout out again to Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. Go and check them out on Facebook. If you search for Josh and Pat's MTG, you'll find it on there. Daily auctions going up. And, you can get some really good bargains there. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all of those places. Just search for Magic Beans Cast and you'll find us on there. I am at PSync if you want to find me on Twitter. Chewy, you are?
At Chewy MTG.
Cracker?
At Joel Hill _
Chris?
At Polywaffle MTG.
Stu?
At Stewie.
And last but very not least, Scott the Blaster Boy, what are you?
At The Real Blaster.
Very good. All right, that's going to wrap up our 1 year review. We hope that you've enjoyed this and we hope that you stick with us for another year. Make sure you stay safe out there and we will see you next time.